On the table here, I have the Tripltek T8 Pro tablet, a device that's been specifically tailored for the drone community, with one key feature in particular that really catches the eye: a lovely big 8-inch screen with 1200 nits of sustained brightness. Now, modern smartphones will give you that level of brightness, but I can tell you from painful experience, it's not sustained. Now we live in Spain, temperatures here get very hot. Our iPhones switch off like this the second the sun hits them. Never mind going dim, they switch off.
Cut! Can't see anything.
However, on the assumption you're not made of money, $795 is quite an investment in your drone kit, given that you probably already own a smartphone, by definition, given that you own a drone. So, I'm going to give you all the facts, all the information that you need to decide based on your own use case scenario, whether this is an absolute necessity or a luxury that you might want to pay up for, or something that you can do without. So, let's get into that now. Stewart here, pleasure to talk to you as always. Now, if you're even thinking about spending this kind of money on a tablet, you must be quite serious about your droning. Have you downloaded a copy of our free ebook From Drone Zero to Drone Hero, 37 tips to get you flying like a filmmaker? If you haven't, grab yourself a copy of that now, link in the description below. And much as it is fun geeking out about gear and talking about all the creative ways we can spend money, it's what you do with your drone that counts. If you're new here, yes, we like to talk about the gear, but ultimately this entire channel started with filmmaking tutorials based around aerial cinematography, and that is where our passion remains. We have an 8-hour drone cinematography masterclass to get you from drone owner to drone pilot to drone cinematographer in the most informative and entertaining way possible. Here are all the key specifications of the Tripltek T8 Pro. Go ahead and pause this if you want to take some time here, but otherwise let's crack on. The Tripltek T8 Pro is an Android-based tablet with cellular connectivity, so we can put a SIM card in there and it becomes a massive mobile phone, essentially with 4G LTE capability for all our data downloads, our maps and so on and so forth. Very useful for drone pilots. Wi-Fi connectivity, Bluetooth and GPS. Anything you can do with a mobile phone, you can do with this, be it download third-party apps for any reason, be those drone-specific apps like Drone Deploy or Litchi, or you can download some video editing apps. Also, if you're standing in the field in the middle of nowhere and DJI Fly tells you that you need an emergency update, you can do it there and then because you have that 4G data connection. The device comes with internal storage of 256 gigabytes, and that is expandable thanks to the combined SIM card and micro SD card that can take a 1 terabyte micro SD. Probably the third key selling point of the Tripltek T8 is its durability. It's been built to last, no doubt about that. Apparently can withstand a ton of pressure, and I'm not going to put that to the test because I want to use this, so I'm not looking to break it, but that's a lot of pressure. Ingress Protocol 68, IP68, so we can submerge this at 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. That's good news, and it's dust proof. Now, the flip side of making this thing so durable and military grade and all that kind of stuff is it comes in at 590 grams. It's certainly significantly heavier than anything I've ever used of this size. So that's kind of up to you whether that's a good or a bad thing. If portability matters to you, that's one extra thing you have to carry, and it's quite a heavy thing. If it doesn't matter, who cares? There's an 8 megapixel front-facing selfie camera, and there's also a 21 megapixel rear-facing principal camera. Now, when it comes to stills, in terms of the app that comes with the device at least, we're given the option of a maximum resolution of 12.6 megapixels, and when it comes to video mode, resolution maxes out at 1080p. Now, those are specifications from the dark ages if you compare this device with a similarly priced mobile phone. The similarly priced Samsung Galaxy S21 comes with an array of 3 rear-facing cameras, 8K video mode, 4K resolutions with loads of different frame rates, optical image stabilization, really nice still images. It's a whole different ballgame. Now, of course, this isn't the reason you buy the Tripltek T8, but given that we're talking about 2 devices pretty much the same price, this comparison starts to creep into your mind. Much as it's great to have a tablet that's military certified and shock resistant for flying your drone, I've never come close to breaking or smashing a tablet whilst flying a drone. Quite the opposite, I'm standing still, motionless. It's not the kind of activity where I'm going to demolish my tablet. If we look at The mobile phone example, Samsung Galaxy S21, well, it's also IP68, dust and water resistant. It's made from Gorilla Glass. It's quite hard to break, in my case, an iPhone. Again, something that I've never done. So we have to look at this relative to the alternatives. The Tripltek T8 Pro excels with its enormous 12,200 milliamp hour battery. That's almost 3 times the size of a smartphone and is unquestionably a very valuable feature. We don't want to be having to charge our tablet when we are out in the field, so having peace of mind is a great thing in that respect. I want to touch on usability for a second because a couple of issues came up in user feedback. People have actually bought the product and have something to say on it. User feedback, I should say, is pretty universally positive, which is good to see because that has been my experience as well. But it looks like if we go back far enough to the launch of this product, it was having a bit of an issue playing back high-resolution files. They were stuttering. That all seems to have been resolved and solved. The Tripltek website itself actually says use the app Total Commander. You can download it for free. It has a media player amongst other things and you can play back high-resolution files. I did and it works. But similarly, the native photo app that also comes on the Android device works perfectly well. So that issue seems to be ancient history. Something else I spotted in the forums that seems to have been a common issue is that when using the DJI Fly app with the Air 2S, a lower resolution backup file is not recorded to the cache. Now, assuming you have the cache settings to record those backup files, you should get that lower resolution file. I couldn't simulate that issue, so I don't know if it was an issue before and it's not an issue now, or maybe people just didn't realize that you have to look somewhere else to find those lower resolution backup files. Either way, I couldn't simulate that issue, so I think we're all set in terms of usability and reliability. A few words on the accessories that come in the box. We get everything that we need to get up and running, certainly with this DJI RC N1 controller. This is the one that comes with the Mini 2, the Mini, the Air 2S, the Air 2, the Mavic 3. Little brackets that allow us to mount this. I mean, this is heavier than you're used to holding, it has to be said, but I certainly don't have any issue with it, and using this nice 8-inch bright screen is an absolute treat compared with peering at an iPhone, I must admit. There's also an anti-glare screen protector in there, all the cables that we need, a couple of mounts for the back of this so you can mount a hand strap if you wish. Pretty nice user experience. Things have been quite well thought out. It's a nice product. Let's come back to what I consider the 2 purchase-defining decisions with the Tripltek T8 Pro: screen brightness and longevity or future-proofing. Now that 1200 nits sustained screen brightness is fantastic. It's the #1 selling point for this tablet, and it's worth every penny if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you can't fly your drone properly because you can't see your screen. Now, personally, for 90% of drone flights, I've used a phone. If you know how to use the histogram, which you should, stick around on the channel. If you don't, it doesn't really matter if the screen isn't sufficiently bright. As long as you expose correctly on the day and you use the histogram to guide you with an objective measure of exposure, you're going to be okay. The much bigger issue I've got, as opposed to maximum screen brightness, but it's the sustained screen brightness. We had the most maddening situation where Alina and I went out to some mountain in the middle of nowhere to film a video for this channel, a drone video for this channel. Something that's very difficult for us to do, work together these days, to get the time to go out, family considerations, all that kind of stuff. So we make the effort, we take our 2 phones, we're well aware that they don't do well in hot temperatures, kept them out the sun, out the direct sun, went all the way to our location, walked for an hour after an hour drive. Both of them switched off the second they were out our pockets. Air temperature was probably 35, 40 degrees Celsius, that's 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It was flipping hot, but the second that the sun hit the phone, it just turned into this boiling hot lump of metal and it just switched off. They both did. They both switched off instantly. In a professional context, that's just a non-starter, an absolute non-starter in a professional context. You need something that's going to do you better than that. It's winter now, so it's not hot enough for me to simulate that test, unfortunately, but I've spoken to the guys at Tripltek and they insist that this thing operates from 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That's all the way up to 50 degrees Celsius, something like that. The screen will not even dim, never mind the device switch off. I haven't seen anything in the user feedback or reviews to suggest that that claim is not true. If I ever experience anything different, I will tell you straight away. But if, like us, you live in a place where temperatures get pretty hot or extremely cold for that matter, an iPhone, Samsung Android device is not going to cut it, and in a professional environment, you need something better. Future-proofing. This one's a little bit topical with the release of the DJI RC Pro and basically the discontinuation of DJI's smart controller. If we go back a little bit further, DJI had a system called the Crystal Sky. It ran the DJI Go 4 app. It was applicable for the Phantom series, the Inspire series. It was eventually upgraded so it could take the Mavic 2 series, but it doesn't work with the DJI Fly series. Then a lot of people bought the smart controller, but it doesn't work with the new Mavic 3, so you're left with the option of buying a $1,200, yes, you heard me correctly, $1,200 RC Pro that goes with the Mavic 3. Lovely device, lovely screen, built-in controller, all the rest of it very convenient. But come on, like, who's got that kind of money? Even if you're doing this professionally, you need to have a really good reason to spend that kind of money on a controller monitor combo, especially given the thing already comes with a controller and you have a phone in your pocket. So DJI's track record is not that great in terms of supporting its prior innovations when it comes to monitoring devices. And that, for me personally as a consumer, would definitely give me second thoughts when it comes to purchasing a DJI device, which means you might be looking at something like this. From what I can tell, the Tripltek T8 Pro will keep us going for some time when we look at the chip specifications. We have a 64-bit octa-core CPU, and that's paired with a 3D-ready GPU. Now, one of the reasons the DJI Fly app and therefore the Mini 2, the Air 2S, the Mavic 3 won't work with the Crystal Sky system is because the Crystal Sky system is a 32-bit system that only supports the DJI Go 4 app. DJI Fly app runs on 64-bit architecture, and we don't get that with the Crystal Sky. Now we have a 64-bit octa-core chip here. We can't expect technology that doesn't already exist, so we can't really ask for more than that. I think we're good to go for some time yet with the Tripltek T8 Pro. Added to that, much as I'm inclined to talk about DJI products, this is a generic Android tablet at the end of the day that works with any drone. You're not locked into a system. That is a good thing. You're not going to be left with $700-800 worth of unusable hardware here, as and when one of the drone manufacturers changes how it does things. So like I say, folks, I don't know your needs and your wants and your budget. I'm just trying to give you some information so you can make up your own mind, a little bit of opinion in there as well based on our own use case scenario and our own experiences. Very nice product, not inexpensive, so you're going to have to make up your own mind whether it's worth your hard-earned cash. If you are interested, a link below. Don't forget to download our free ebook, check out our other free resources. Keep in touch, subscribe, stay tuned, like the video, all that kind of stuff, and we will see you next time.